The starting point in human design is your energy type. We're actually all built to function very differently, with different skills and different ways that our energy works. So we need to align with that rather than do things the way that the world tells us we need to do things. When we do, we create success and happiness with so much more ease. And it's more enjoyable because it's the way our souls actually crave doing life. Your energy type tells you how you're built to operate, and it's arguably the most important aspect of your design. Your energy type is what we call a generator. Let's get into what that means. A generator's purpose is to create good energy in the world. As the name suggests, you're here to generate energy. Whenever you do something that makes you happy, excited, and lit up, you create so much good energy that it literally spills out of you and into everyone around you. Being lit up is your highest calling because when you're happy and excited, it inspires, fuels, and lifts everyone else up around you without you even trying. When you're excited, you become full of life. This energy can't help but spill out of you into everything and everyone you come across. This is the magic of a generator. When a generator is lit up, they have such juicy, sparkly energy that everyone wants to be around you, even if they can't explain why. When you're following your desires, you feel like you could go and go all day without feeling tired because you're generating this good energy. This is the universe telling you you're in your flow. Because of this, when a generator does what they love, everyone wins. If you want to live your purpose, do more things that actually excite you and less things that don't. If you want to help others, know that the universe has given you specific passions that you're meant to follow in order to live as your highest version. The things that light you up aren't random. They're specifically exciting to you because you're meant to be doing them. Your lit upness makes other people more energized, excited, productive, and gives them momentum in their own life. So no matter what job title you may have on the outside, the real value you're providing is that you're infusing the world with life force. When you're doing something that you're not so jazzed about, you'll feel drained and tired. This is life's way of trying to prevent you from doing more of it and show you that it's not what you're meant to be spending your time on. The biggest conditioning for generators is the praise you get from others for doing things you don't want to do, perhaps because it benefits them in some way. For example, maybe your parents said well done for going to see your grandma when you didn't really want to as a kid, or your friend relies on your generator energy to help them move home or make a group of people gel together. However, this only backfires because when you're not excited, you don't create that juicy, sparkly energy, which is what they actually really want. Sure, you can go through the motions of helping them move, but it won't have elevated the energy of the situation for either of you. And if you're not excited to do it, it suggests that the universe has a better option for the other person too. Saying no. When you trust that your excitement is divine guidance, it's actually the best thing you can do for everyone involved. When you say no, maybe the other person is meant to find a better person to help them with that, or figure it out themselves and realize they're more capable than they thought, or come up with a more creative solution, or be forced to do things in a new way that actually benefits them more. You never know just how you're helping the situation by saying no, but your excitement or lack thereof will always be leading you to the best outcome. When you want to bring more good things into your life, sometimes the most powerful thing a generator can do is say no more. Saying no clears things off your plate that don't light you up, which creates space in your life for the universe to start sending you more of what does. The universe loves to fill an empty space because you're sending the signal that you want better, and it will rush to come and help you fill it. If you're saying yes to everything, there's no space for the things you truly desire to come into your life. When you're in a place where you want to make changes, you don't have to figure out what new things to do, so much as stop keeping yourself busy with things that don't make you happy. The fear of doing nothing. The reason why generators are afraid to start saying no is because of that praise for all the doing they got over the course of their lives. And they're afraid that if they're less busy rushing around, even for a hot second, then good things won't come to them. Life wants to see if you're brave enough to go against these false beliefs and be open to working with your joy and not against it. After removing the no's, you might be less occupied, but trust me, it will only be temporary. Use that open space to look around. Life is happening all around you, and it's full of things that might please and delight you. You couldn't see those when you were busying yourself with things you thought you had to do. But now, you've opened yourself up to start seeing things that the universe has been trying to get you to see all along. How do you know if something excites you? Excitement and desire comes from your gut, which is the most important part of a generator's chart. It's the body part that rules your energy. When something comes your way that's exciting to you, whether that's a meal, a job, or a lover, your energy perks up and expands. You can literally feel it in your gut, in your body, and people around you pick up on that. whether they know it consciously or not. It makes them want to be around you, work with you, buy whatever you're selling, or just hug you. This in turn kicks off a chain of opportunities and synchronicities between you and the world. So you don't actually have to figure out what to do in advance. You just have to activate the process by saying yes to what excites you. Life is constantly sending you things that you might like and want. Your job is to notice the involuntary excitement response within you and then to reach out and take it. Whether that's do it, create it, eat it, use it, play with it, buy it, whatever it is, excitement is always about the action and not about the end result. So make sure you do something because it genuinely excites you, rather than doing it because you think it's the only way to get you an end result that you desire. If you suppress your own happiness because you think you have to in order to get to a certain goal, it will never end well. Because the truth is, it's not your job to think about end results. If you pave the way there with what makes you happy and excited, you'll create the best outcome, even if you don't yet know what that is. Ultimately, the things you love to do are the very things that will lead you right to your dream life, and you just need to trust that. Emotional intuition. Your intuition is emotional, meaning that the right decision for you is always going to be the one that makes you feel happy or content when you think about it. Your emotions are not random. They're the way that the universe specifically tells you the right way to go in any situation in your life. And you can always rely on them to show you what the most aligned option is. Because you're an emotional being, you have to give your body time to fully feel out the situation or opportunity in order to give you the answer. So this means you shouldn't pressure yourself to have the answer right away, but instead wait until you've fully felt it out. This is such a different way of living than the way we're taught, which is that you should respond to emails right as they come up, or that it's good if you always have the answer right away. If you try to do that, you will cut yourself off from so much knowledge and wisdom that gets gathered up by your body when you just give yourself a little bit of time. What the emotions mean. If something is good for you, big or small, it will evoke a sweet kind of emotion in your body just by you thinking about it. If you feel neutral about it, that's a sign that it's not quite yet the time to decide. And if it makes you feel low or flat or sad or blue, even if it doesn't make sense to you why, then it's not aligned for you. When you're just starting out listening to your emotions, don't pressure yourself to act on them right out the gate. Just acknowledging them is a huge step in reconnecting and strengthening your communication line with the universe. And when you do, it will speak to you more clearly and loudly, and you will find it easier to follow. When you give your emotions the deciding vote, it eliminates so much of the confusion that dims our own knowing and makes it so difficult to trust ourselves. Clarity unfolds over time. Let's say something comes up that makes you feel super excited. You might want to jump in and say yes in the moment, but I'm sure it's happened to you before where you've been in a super good mood one day and said yes to something, only to wake up the next day and regret the decision. Being in a good mood or a bad mood one day can sway your clarity, so you need to wait until you're in a neutral mood, then come back to the decision and see how it makes you feel. If it makes you smile in that state, in that neutral state, then it's a good decision for sure. Go slow to go fast. By not jumping into commitments prematurely, you'll save yourself a lot of detours, which will also save you time. In your case, slower is definitely faster. So be okay with buying yourself time to get to clarity. The more you do it and own it, the more you'll see that people are actually more okay with it than you thought. You can try these kind of phrases to give your emotions time to get clarity. Let me come back to you on that. Let me sleep on it. Or give me 24 hours. 80% of the time, 24 hours is enough time for you to get clarity. But with bigger or more complex decisions, it can take a bit longer than that. Trust that whenever it comes, that's divine timing at work. Feeling your emotions. Knowing how you feel emotionally can be a challenge at first because we've been taught that emotions are unreliable and that the head is better in charge. But the head only knows logic and what makes sense and what it has already experienced, which closes it off from conceiving of new and better things. But with the emotions, you don't even have to come up with how it all needs to happen. You just need to trust that you always have that emotional signal to rely on. The way you trust is not blind faith. It's not by meditating on it. It's by trying out this new way of doing things and building up enough evidence that it works over time so that eventually it becomes your new automatic process. Your personality is a self-motivated hero, also known as a 5-2. The first number describes the way you see yourself, and the second number is the way others see you. It actually serves us to have our own internal world that's not so obvious to others, and an external side of us for the physical world. Let's go into each one and how they come together to form your full personality. 5. The liberator. You have a save the day energy about you. You love to help people, whether it's strangers or loved ones. You value everyone equally. Because of this, and because you're naturally outgoing, people subconsciously sense that you can help them, guide them, or lead them. Sometimes they might put that expectation on you, whether they know they're doing it or not. Your work as a liberator is to discern which situations are yours to fix and save, and which ones are not. Just because you can fix it, it doesn't mean you should fix it. The right things to do are situations you feel are a good fit for you to apply your gifts to, and situations you're actually excited to participate in. Sometimes liberators try to fix everything because they want to make everyone happy. But if you step in and fix things for approval and recognition, you'll only deplete yourself and become your not self. When you're doing something that you actually want to do, it means it's correct for you. And when you're stepping in and improving the correct situations, they'll actually give you a burst of energy. In close relationships, it's important for you to feel like you're valued for things other than just sorting everything out for people. You might not even know who you are without trying to save people, but only by letting go of this compulsion will you start to see the other types of exchanges you can have between you and the people you love. 2. The natural. You come across as a natural, which means there are certain things you seem to be effortlessly good at without really knowing how you came to be good at those things, or being able to describe to other people how you do it. There's a pressure in this world to validate or explain how you're qualified to do those things, but don't bend to that pressure. In fact, the more people like you are honest about how it comes easy to you, the more we'll actually realize that we don't need to earn things as much as our society's told us. Coming into your genius is not about learning from the outside world. It's already in you without you really knowing how it got there. When you're doing these things that come easy to you, you slip into this zone where your gifts just seem to come out of you. There's an unaware quality in doing what you do, almost as if it happens without you consciously making it happen. In this way, doing your gifts is quite an unconscious process and takes care of itself as long as you've created the time and space where getting in the zone is possible. However, since it's an unaware process, it's usually easier for others to spot your genius than it is for you. So naturals tend to require feedback from the outside world to figure out what they're good at. When you're in your zone doing your thing, you don't like to be disturbed or interrupted because you need to be fully devoting yourself to your craft without being thrown off track. So there is a little bit of a hermit side to you, as it's only through that you can develop your gifts to their fullest. When you do find yourself feeling disturbed though, you can reframe it by remembering that people aren't usually trying to disturb you on purpose, and also communicating clearly to them when you do want to be in solo mode. When the 5 and the 2 come together. You are a brilliant and effortless fixer and solver, here to serve humanity, backed by your big, altruistic heart. You're the one who loves to swoop in and make things better for people, and also you seem to do it with so much ease. Making things better is just obvious to you, and that's your gift. But whilst helping others is what you live for, you also seek a lot of alone time. Learning when to do which is the key to creating a healthy and successful life. Because it's so easy for you to help and lift others, it can be hard to believe the fact that there is a real vulnerability to you. You're prone to questioning yourself a lot, and ultimately, this is what you came here to overcome. Before others discover your genius, you have to discover it yourself and put it out there. It's very important that you don't expect the world to discover you, or you'll wait forever and it will only make you want to detach yourself further from the world. Like your name suggests, the self-motivated hero, no amount of recognition or validation from others will get you going. You came here to believe in yourself and be your own motivator. Remember that the 5 in you is subject to many projections, and if you feel the pressure of too many of them with no self-recognition in place yet, you'll be tempted to just give up or not bother. Don't ever throw in the towel. We need you to keep going because you really are here to be a hero. This will be the thing that both heals you and heals other people. The alone time you need is mostly important for your body to stay in good health. So don't allow your mind to take over your alone time, let's say with overthinking, worrying, and projection, as this will deplete rather than restore you. The alone time is for the body, and getting involved in life is the part that soothes your mind and also boosts your self-confidence. Getting over your fears of your own image and abilities and your high standard of them is your karma, but no amount of thinking will solve it. You have to demonstrate your own abilities to yourself by just giving it a go. The pressure you feel from others is actually irrelevant, and this will only trigger you for as long as you have pressure and expectations on yourself. Those triggers are not a bad thing, they're just pointing you to the next place where you can self-examine. You have strong ideals, and beautiful things can be born out of these ideals. You can use them to create and encourage excellence in the world. As long as you don't overly fantasize about life or others, it's actually good to hold strong to these ideals of how good we can all be. When you believe in it, you make it easier for others to believe in it too, and half the work of creating an ideal world is having faith in it. You have a transpersonal karma, which means you'll feel most worthy when you're contributing to others. Know that the recognition you crave will come the more you see your natural talents as being valuable, and just start putting them out there and really owning them. It's not other people's responsibility to tell you you're great, it's yours. But ironically enough, when you value those natural gifts you were given, others pick up on that and will value you for those too. You have a karma of letting go of what other people think, which is difficult because you hold yourself to such a high standard. It's time to value yourself. This will be the most healing thing you do and the key to having everything else you desire come to you. In close relationships, you may find you seek feedback that people aren't always able to give. But just because they won't always be in a space to give it, it's not necessarily that anything's wrong in your dynamic. You open yourself up more for feedback when you show your vulnerability and softness rather than talking about your performance like a science project. People respond best to that big, soft heart. Also in relationships, remember that changing and fixing things is easy and obvious to you, but it isn't to everyone else, so don't allow yourself to get frustrated at other people's pace. The key with being a 5-2 is marrying your effortless brilliance with your huge care for helping humanity, and when you do, that's your gold. Your strategy is the way you make things happen in your life, how you go about making your dream life real, how you manifest. The world has taught us that we have to push and force things to happen, but you have a unique way of drawing your dreams to you that will feel much more easeful and fun. Plus, it will actually get you so much quicker results when you do it because you're doing it in the way that you're meant to be doing it. Your strategy is responding. The universe is constantly sending you clues and signs of what to do based on what excites you, gives you that full body yes, and what doesn't. Responding is about only doing things that come across your path that you can literally feel that full body yes to. When something is meant for you, your gut will literally respond to it. You will feel physically drawn to that thing. Think of life as one big buffet. It's full of ideas and suggestions and options that might please you. Responding is noticing all the things you see and come across that make you think, I like that, or I want that, or I wish I could have that. And if you do like it and want it, say yes to it. Go do it, create it for yourself, bring more of it into your life, because doing it is what the universe wants you to do next. These could be direct, like opportunities and invites that come your way, or indirect, like things you see around you, things you see other people doing, what you see on social media, characters on TV shows. They're all there on purpose to lead you right to your purpose. The answers are all around you. You don't have to figure out what you want. It's the outside world that will give you the clues of what you're into or not, based on how you respond to it. You're not meant to just know what you want out of thin air. You have to have an outside stimulus to respond to. You don't have to push, force, or make it happen. You just have to fully throw your energy into the things that your gut responds to and not do the things that don't. And when you're open, the universe will put the things that are meant for you right in front of your eyes. The key to your dream life is not only saying yes to things that light you up, but also saying no to things that don't. When you say no to the things that don't, you actually create more space for the potential yeses to come in. Your decisions are black and white. It's important for you to know that your gut is black and white. It doesn't do gray area. So for you, you're either excited about it or you're not. Unless you feel a full body yes, the answer is actually no. You do not deal in maybes. Because the gut is black and white, it also doesn't deal in open-ended questions. So if you've asked yourself before, what lights me up? Don't be surprised if your gut hasn't come up with the answer. But if you ask yourself, does forecasting light me up? Does event planning light me up? Does organization light me up? You'll definitely know the answer to that. You can use the this or that, yes or no questions to direct you with anything in life, whether big or small. So instead of asking yourself what takeout you feel for dinner tonight, ask yourself if you want sushi or Mexican. The more you can make sure that everything in your life is there because it gives you that hell yes response, the more aligned you become. The universe makes you respond yes to the things it wants you to do. The universe doesn't see the difference between you saying yes to the takeout that lights you up and yes to the job that lights you up. Following your lit upness will always create more lit upness. What to do when it feels like life isn't sending you things to respond to? Take a look around your life and ask if each thing in it lights you up or not. If it doesn't, start by just being honest with yourself about it, as that will align you to the truth of how you feel. And from there, the universe is clear on your feelings, so it can swoop in and start to help you by putting new opportunities and clues on your path. The more you get rid of around you that doesn't light you up, the more space you will have to notice things that might. It's like you give yourself a bigger pair of glasses with which to see. And then start to look around at whatever else is going on in the world around you and keep asking your gut, would this be exciting to you if you had it? And then pursue those wants. Put energy into bringing them into your own life. If you get a hell yes, you have full permission to funnel all your life force into it. Always trust the feeling of wanting as a good thing because it's pointing you right towards the life you're supposed to have. Your sign is the feeling you have when you're living your design. It's a no-fail way that the universe can signal to you that you're on the right track. When you're using your energy correctly, you will always feel your sign come up in your life. So you never have to do any guesswork to know whether you're in alignment or not. Your sign will be there to show you. Your sign is satisfaction. Satisfaction is feeling lit up by life. This is that feeling you get when you're living a full life, one where each day is filled with things that please you, big and small, that you have consciously chosen. Like your perfect coffee in the morning, the buzz in your work life, a warm cuddle with your loved ones, the tennis game that makes you feel alive, and the good kind of crazy days that make you feel invigorated. When you string these moments together where you feel so content in each, you get to the end of your day and you can't help but let out like a good kind of satisfied sigh. One that means you've used your energy up in a good way today. It brought back some awesome returns and you're fully ready to check out, hit the pillow, and be so psyched to do it all over again tomorrow. The not self is the feeling we get whenever we're not living our design. Life gives you this not self feeling so that you can always tell when you're getting off track, so that you can then redirect quickly back to using your energy the way that you're meant to. Your not self is frustration. If you're living your design, saying yes to things that light you up and no to the things that don't, you create a steady flow of excitement in your life, which then magnetizes people and opportunities to you. The opposite of energy flowing is energy stagnating. This creates a feeling of being stuck and not being able to move forward in things even if you try. This is the true definition of frustration, attempting or reaching for something but it not happening. Frustration can show up as literal frustration or irritation, feeling stuck, feeling uninspired, blah, or incapable. This is always a sign showing you that you have the power to change your situation by changing one of your thoughts or behaviors around this situation. Here's how frustration can look in your thoughts. Nothing is happening. This is not going the way I want. I'm so bored. I'm so over this. I'm being made or forced to do this, but I don't want to. Thinking, I have all these obligations and maybe they're starting to weigh heavy on me. I want to shake them off and be free. I feel like I'm having the life sucked out of me. I'm feeling pulled in all these different directions. It seems like everyone else is doing what they love, but nothing is coming to me, or I can't seem to do that. I should be able to create happiness, but I just can't. I have no energy to do what I dream of. What's the point of all of this? Why does it feel like I'm walking through mud and taking so much effort to get things going? Or simply, I'm just so tired. Remember that this is not your true self. This is your not self, aka life showing you that it's time to live your design a little bit more, which will get you right back into your sign, which is satisfaction. You are here to be lit up and excited by life. This is your real nature, and whenever you see your not self, you can always rise higher into the life you really want to have by turning it around. Non-specific manifesting. Manifesting refers to your way of bringing things you want into your reality. You're designed to manifest in a non-specific way, which is a method that's very new to the world. Traditionally, we tell people to get clear on exactly what they want, down to a T, to make vision boards or to write lists. This style is very much about the person and what the person wants. We get told, if you don't know what you want, you'll never get it. But this is not true for you. You can and are meant to have beautiful things happen in your life without you having asked for them or wanted them specifically. Your work is to have a general idea of what you like and then to stay open to how the universe will fill in the details of that manifestation, because they're so much greater than what you could even imagine yourself. So when we say a general idea, let's say you want a career as a journalist. You don't have to know which magazine is your ideal one. You'll be guided to the right one when you leave it to the universe. You just have to point it in the right direction by knowing the essence of what you want. The feeling is more important than the details. So in manifesting that career in journalism, you just have to be clear that you want to work in a place that enables you to feel valued, allows you to write things you want, be filled with people that inspire you, etc., whatever that is. You're getting clear on the core essence of the thing you want rather than worrying about how it has to look. Sure, you can manifest specific things, but have you ever worked to get something you thought you really wanted, but it didn't make you feel how you hoped it would make you feel when you got it? This is just a reminder to focus on the feeling and let the universe send you the exact thing that will make you feel that way. Resist the world pressuring you to have your vision all planned out. A lot of non-specifics get pulled out of their natural way of doing things because we live in a world that is always asking us to describe and quantify where we're heading. But you're not supposed to know. You're not meant to have the 5-year plan. The only thing you ever have to do is have the general idea, the general feeling. For you, whenever you get very set on something turning out in a specific way, it's like putting blinders on, which narrows down what can come to you and may shut down the most ideal outcome from coming to you. You're not meant to know what you want in such a detailed and specific way. It's a practice in letting go of control when it comes to your dreams and really understanding that you're not totally in charge. You create your dreams with the universe. You just have to get in touch with what your soul really truly wants. And then instead of trying to figure out how it will unfold, stay open to being surprised and delighted. Every human lifetime has a different theme. Your life theme describes the main energy you're meant to bring into everything you do. It's called a theme because it's meant to run through all the areas of your life. The same mix of skills and essence will bring you success and alignment, whether you're at home, with friends, at work, in the grocery store. When you live according to your life theme, that's when you know you're on the road to your purpose. So as far as the universe is concerned, your purpose isn't just achieved at work. The universe doesn't compartmentalize like that. It wants to see you sharing your specific essence everywhere you go. When you bring your essence to the table, you signal to the universe and to people around you that you're being who you're meant to be. This is when people gravitate towards you the most, when opportunities and synchronicities flood to you, because you're simply being the person you came here to be. So all the good things that are meant for you finally fit. Let's get into the theme of your life. The left angle cross of prevention 2. To help steer humanity away from habits and behaviors that don't serve us. You're skilled at observing humanity. You easily see the behaviors and actions that land us in trouble or don't serve us well. You're here to lift us higher by steering us away from those negative directions, mostly by voicing your opinions on what it is you see us doing. You can be quite cutting and direct, and over time you're here to learn that there is a way to still be direct but also kind, and that your guidance gets received much more openly when you do. Experiment with your wording through your life, because anytime you refine it, it will bring the rest of your life up higher. If you can show us the way and do it with love, you become unstoppable. Your digestion is consecutive appetite. The simpler you eat, the better. Your digestive pattern is the same as our early ancestors who ate very simply and naturally. If they came across a mango tree, their meal would just be a bunch of mangoes. This is the same for you. You thrive off keeping things basic and pared down without too much variety in any given meal. Your food. The most important thing to know is that being selective about what you eat is a good thing for you. When you have lots of options of what to eat, choose the things that are really worth it to you and then eat those and only those. The more you can take out what's not necessary, the better. If you're having peas and asparagus as your vegetable sides, for example, don't force yourself to have a few carrots because they're healthy or because you should try and get as much variety in as possible. Those things just aren't true for you. So even though society says, for example, that a salad with 25 things in it is better for you, it will always drain your system. When you do have a more complex meal, you're best off finishing one food in your meal and then moving on to the next one. Embracing the simple way. It can be difficult for this digestive type because society equates complicated food with good food. But simple doesn't mean it can't be gourmet. And if you love gourmet, find a way to make this way of eating gourmet. You can make a beautiful plate of a few things the way the Mediterraneans do, for example. Maybe it's hard for you to even see how you might be built for a more simple way of eating. If this is you, the only way you'll know is by giving it a go. You'll know that it's right if after some time doing it, you feel so much clearer, energized, and at peace. Plus, it doesn't have to be all or nothing. You can just simplify your meals a little bit more than you did yesterday and get great results. If you don't like the idea of simplifying your meals because it feels limiting, tell yourself you're actually just choosing the things that most excite you to eat and allowing yourself to really enjoy those. And that tomorrow, all the food options in the world will still be available and you can choose which ones appeal to you the most then. Your brain. With this digestive pattern, it also means that when you simplify and strip down the information that comes into your brain, it's easy for you to think clearly and be in your genius. We digest information and process the world around us the exact same way we digest and process food in our bodies. So for you, you need to take in the outside world in a very simple fashion. When you do, your brain functions at its peak, which makes it very easy for your gifts and genius to develop, whatever that is. Eating patterns. Your brain is very active, so it uses up a lot of your daily calorie intake. If you want to fast, be sure not to undereat, simply for the reason that when you do, it hinders the development of your genius for that day. You'll also do well eating consistently, meaning that your food regime should look the same or similar from one day to the next. So, for example, if you decide a fruit-based breakfast works well for you, aim to do that every morning at around the same kind of time. Consistency for you actually eliminates stress and overthinking, so when you automate it, it gives you freedom for your brain to focus on the things that actually move your life forward. Your strongest sense in human design is outer vision, which means you're here to make life more beautiful. Of all the 6 senses, each one of us has one that's dominant. It's the sense that when heightened makes you feel most alive. It's kind of like your love language with the world. Each sense has its own language, and when you speak your language, people receive your gifts most deeply. It makes whatever you do more effective and valuable. You also absorb the information from the outside world the best when you're taking it in through that sense. With outer vision as your strongest sense, aesthetics and beauty are your language. They're what really enhances your own life and also the medium through which you enhance other people's lives. No matter what job or role you're in, you'll be the most valuable and appreciated when you're bringing visuals into it. With your gifts. So whatever gifts you have, you're meant to do them through a filter of making our world more beautiful. If you're designing a new software system, make sure that it's one that's visually appealing. If you're teaching people about a specialized subject, draw it out instead of discuss it. Illustrate your points. Write out the key words. Don't ever feel guilty or shallow for this quality of yours, because what we all want is to live a beautiful life. When you make life more beautiful, you make it more enjoyable. You can heal people by being a stylist. You can transform someone's view of life by making their home more visually appealing. You take in information primarily through your eyes. Pay attention to what speaks to you visually, because what does speak to you speaks to you for a reason. So trust what you're drawn to and follow it. You've been made to be attracted to it on purpose. They say don't judge a book by its cover, but for you, you can see the energies behind it all when you look at the cover, so it's not so bad to look. You're downloading all the information you need just by using your eyes. In your personal life, take time to make your life more like a movie and less mundane. Use your fancy coffee cup every day. Lounge around the house in a pretty kimono instead of sweats. Put lots of shower gel in your bath so that you don't just have a bubble bath, you have one that overflows with bubbles. These little details add to your happiness and fulfillment, so listen to whatever your little details are. Whenever you need to come back to you, draw or color or make something visual. Do a creative arts project for fun. You love it when your loved ones literally improve your life. So things like buying flowers for the home or removing the trash means so much to you because they're helping hone your spidey sense. Setting up your life. Putting time into things like tidying your space or putting on makeup before you work are important because they help you get into your zone of genius. It's like giving your body a tune-up so it's primed to concentrate and think clearly. Because you absorb and process information through the visual plane, your visual plane needs to be as clear and uncluttered as possible. With eating. Before you eat, make sure your food looks visually appealing to you. That could mean taking the time to put your food on a pretty plate instead of eating out of a container, or dusting your latte with a dash of cinnamon. This will prime your system to receive the food in the best way possible. You can tell if a food is good for you to eat just by looking at it. Remember, you're getting all the intel you need on the energies behind it. So instead of making a strict shopping list, just go to the store and see what looks good sometimes. Look at what other people are eating in the restaurant before deciding what you want yourself. Get all the colors of the rainbow on your plate. In short, when you make your own life more beautiful, you make other people's lives more beautiful too. And the beauty is just really a Trojan horse for people to more deeply receive the bigger gifts contained within it. How your emotions function. You're what we call an emotional in human design. Being emotional means that your natural state is not cool, calm, and collected like the world tells us is a good thing to be. You're up and you're down and you flow like the ocean and you feel it all. As an emotional, you experience waves of emotions that are unrelated to what's actually going on in your life. You could wake up feeling happy for no reason or sad for no reason, and you're here to learn that actually every wave has a purpose in your life's journey for the better. We're taught to see some emotions as good ones and some as bad ones, but you need both for different seasons and reasons, and the universe is always sending you the right one it needs you to be in this very moment. You don't need a reason for why you feel the way you feel. The world tells us there is always a cause for feeling blue or feeling happy, but for you, that's not usually the case. Sure, if something amazing happens to you, you'll feel happy, but deeper than that, it's like you have this mood playing in the background, kind of like a song that colors the way you'll feel about your life that day. And the biggest trip is, it's not you who has control over what the song will be. It's the universe that's the DJ. It does this to educate you about life as a human being. You need to have a ton of experience in many types of emotions so that you can develop expertise in human feelings, because your specific calling actually requires that of you. Emotions color your life. Have you ever gotten really sad over something one day and woken up the next day thinking, it's actually not as big of a deal as I thought it was? Or were you ever in such a good mood and received an offer that you said yes to, only to realize later that you're not actually that excited about it as you were at the time? This is the emotional wave. When the universe is playing happy songs in you, you're more likely to see your present moment as better than it is. And when there's a bluesy song in the background, you'll see things as worse than they are. Before you feel daunted, I'll tell you the reason why being emotional is a good thing. Because how we feel, our inner experience of life, is what gives life color. It's from emotion that the most epic songs have been written. It's from sadness that we connect to other people's pain the most profoundly. It's from joy that we feel the most grateful to be alive. You're here to experience and feel them all, to experience the full spectrum of human emotion and to share the side effects of that with others. When you do, you help us develop our understanding of the human experience. You generate compassion and empathy and reverence of the other in embracing exactly how you feel right now and going with it. Making decisions. Since you have emotional intuition, remember that you're meant to wait until you're in a pretty neutral state and then revisit the decision and see how it makes you feel from that neutral place. So often, the reason why the universe will give you a low or a high mood is because it's trying to tell you not to make a decision at that time. It's trying to realign you with divine timing, and whenever you're in a high or a low is actually the sign that now is not the time to decide. It's a sign to feel and be and breathe and create and enjoy. Your emotions are your gifts to others. It's really interesting because roughly half the world is emotional like you and the other half is non-emotional. Non-emotionals are people who only feel something when a situation or person around them has sparked them to feel that way. The emotionals like you are here to spark emotions in the non-emotionals and make the world more interesting and colorful by putting feeling into everything they do and say. In doing so, they light up the hearts of others and foster connection between human beings. Sadly, they are usually afraid to do that because we've been conditioned to see emotions as weak or silly. But we're living in a time where we desperately need the emotionals to be honest about where they're at, without shame, because it's only through them that we'll create a new paradigm where how people feel is front and center of the conversation.